Dear fellow Ugandans, my name is Leah Nangalama. I come from Bududa. Both of my parents are from Bududa. My father's from Bududa, my mother's from Bududa. I can go and show you the burial sites of all my ancestors, including my own father, my grandparents, my aunties, and my uncles. I would like to tell you today that I'm very happy and you did us proud. You showed up to show the leopard that he will no longer deceive Ugandans as he has done in the last 30 years. You took a long time to show up in the streets, but eventually you did. And the interesting thing about that is the police and the military were not out there to kill you. So this tells you a lot, especially given the fact that most of them voted out the leopard. So you have to keep this momentum up. The opposition has to be more organized. We need a chain of command. And that chain of command should not go into the media because this is not a popularity contest at all. This is about knowing who can pick up if you get arrested or surrounded. And then if that person gets picked up, someone else has to follow or the other person. This is called planning, risk assessment, risk management, and risk mitigation. Today we had many parts of Uganda where the goons were not deployed. And in those parts, we could have had the others command the troops to go out and demonstrate. So this was a learning experience. At the same time, you did good, even when you were confronted by the goons. If you notice, they were on your side, but I think they're waiting for more momentum from all of you before they join you. And the dictator knows this, and this is the reason why, even when he had his jets patrolling the air, and he had people with guns and tear gas, today they did not shoot to kill. Usually they would have shot to kill. So we have to keep this in mind. And the other thing is, our brothers and sisters in the army, in the police force, have suffered very much. So they also want change. And they show that change on February 18th when they voted in the barracks against the dictator. So the rest of us have to keep up the momentum because if we let go now, it will not work. Revolutions are go out, demonstrate, be persistent, do it daily until the dictator falls. And Museveni is just a hair away. When he attacks the Americans and then threatens to pull his forces out of Somalia and Car, you know he's on the last breath. And then when he arrests religion and the pastors and the people who are going for prayers, you know he's going towards the end. So you have to keep these things in mind. And then the organizers have to keep secrets. We cannot broadcast everything that's going on. Not on Facebook, not in the media, and not even in WhatsApp groups, because even the WhatsApp groups are full of goons and spies. So technically, the people who are in charge of the demonstrations usually should have the phone numbers of the key people. Sure, their phone numbers might be tapped, but it takes a bit of work, and we now know that our government does not have the most intelligent people in technology. So we have to keep this moving and going until we cripple the economy so bad that the man leaves Uganda and returns to the bush with the hyenas. So I'm making this one in English instead of my usual mix of Luganda and Lugisu, because we do have so many people in the country that only understand English or their local languages. I happen to understand English, speak it, write it, in Luganda and Lugisu, but we should not make an assumption that everybody is going to understand what we say. So we need consistency and persistence, and then prayers, and God will help us. Ugandans have suffered so much under 30 years of a junta regime. We cannot turn back now, because if we turn back, there will be another 5 to 7 years before we can reclaim our country. And then what will our kids do? They will ask us, how come you did not do anything about it? A country with 95% unemployed graduates that exports their graduates into slavery into the Middle East is not a country that you can leave to just go to sleep because they got peace. What kind of peace do you have when you have so many guns everywhere, when you're surrounded by goons, when you can be arrested anytime and be thrown in the coolers or in the safe houses and be tortured? That is not peace. And then you have development. How can you have development and claim you have it when people are hungry? 10 million people are hungry. There are no jobs. There's nepotism. There's inefficiency. There's bribery. Everywhere you turn, Ugandans are suffering. It is your duty as the youth, the future generation, to stand up and say enough is enough. And do not let your kids go into this kind of suffering, or your grandchildren or great-grandchildren, because they will ask you questions. And when they ask you those questions, you will say, I kind of saw it, I kind of knew it, but I did nothing about it. I'm doing my part. And many people today did their part. Thank you and congratulations. The world is watching. Keep in mind that the world is watching. Let's go. Tyranny must fall. I love Uganda, not because I was born in Uganda, but because Uganda was born in me. You will all remember the quote from Nkrumah. He said, he's not African because he was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in him. Similar to me, Uganda was born in me. Wherever I go, Uganda is in me, in my veins, in my DNA. And you should remember that. We need to fight for our country. Bye.